And if we get cut off Facebook, I'll find out. But you'll be on Zoom, I guess. It's not like your Facebook interview, so I'll still be able to talk to you. And if we get cut off Facebook, okay, there we go. I'll find out. But you'll be on Zoom, talk to you. Okay, so that's just me looking at the video. So we are on live. We're sharing live. Okay. I'm going to go right in my group and let them know I'm live. We are live. Let's see. Okay, oops. Okay. Get it going in all these places. Oh, there we go. It is showing there. Okay. There we go. Okay. A couple people are with us. So welcome those who are watching live. I'm looking at a whole bunch of places because I'm on Zoom, yet I'm also in the Facebook group and I'm on my phone looking at that. So I am just trying to keep on it here. Okay. Looking for a few more people are probably gonna pop on, but we're not gonna wait too long. My lipstick needs to be darker. Hello. See, Debbie's on. Kimberly just came on. Amy, Debbie, if they're all watching. It's hard to say. The numbers they show sometimes do not fit. Here. Say hello below if you are on live. Live. Let me know you say hello. Post the comments below. That also helps my video to be seen by more people in the group because Facebook does crazy things and it's only showing things now to very limited people. Not sure why. Okay. So do it a like, a love, comment below, and hopefully more people will be in the group will be able to see this video because I know that more do want to see this video. Okay, I see a couple more hopping on. Hello, hello. You're not on. Oh my God. Clarissa, talk. I think it's the view.
Can you see me now?
Let me look on
on speaker view.
Okay, let me see. It's delayed. So, oh, I'm like, how come you're not showing up? Okay.
Might change your view to gallery view and it'd show both of us.
Okay. I'm so used to going live and in here on my own. And then I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that. I thought you would magically be on with me. There you are. Okay, one on top of the other. Anyways, that's okay. That's what we're going to go with. Don't know how to get it sideways. Oh my God. Do it imperfectly until, you know, whatever, right? Okay, good. Now the view is on. Okay. So we're just going to start. So anybody's watching the replay, make sure you comment, post below. Of course, you can ask questions. You know, Clarissa might be able to pop in here after and answer some. Oh, we're side by side on the, okay, there we go. This is all quite new to me. I haven't done any video interviews, so this is really cool. Okay, now, here we go. Thank you for commenting, Debbie. Okay, now I'm going to get this back up. All right, well, this is Clarissa Hall. She is a compounding pharmacist. I am going to have her introduce herself because I know that some people may have the awareness of what a compounding pharmacist is and some people may not. So can you tell us a little bit about the difference, Clarissa? And what's your experience like? How long have you been working with, do all pharmacists know about this, hormones? And yeah, exactly. Like that's another thing, right? Okay, so yeah, you go ahead now.
Sure. So I am Dr. Clarissa Hall. I live in Missouri in the United States, right in the middle. I have been a pharmacist since 2006. I dove into being a compounding pharmacist In 2010, I took some extra training to specialize in that. And what compounding is we take the bulk ingredients and we customize the medication specific to the patient. So it's not going to be mass produced. It's individualized medication is what it is. And not a lot of pharmacists have this background that I do, but I went through a lot of extra training for it. And then I dove into learning about hormones and compounded bioidentical hormones. And that really, I don't know, it really became like my passion to help women, and I help men as well, but more women because, you know, we're more complicated, so we need more help. Yeah. So that just became my passion. 2010, I've been doing this, so a little over 12 years. I actually have physicians in my area that refer patients to me to do the consult for hormones. Being a pharmacist, I cannot prescribe, but I can make recommendations to your physician on what I think you need hormonal wise. And a lot of physicians are pretty open to that because they don't get that training in school unless they've taken it up on themselves to go to training after school and learn it and be specific and, you know, learning all the details of it. It's a very complicated pathway. The hormonal pathway in the body is very complicated. And unless you take time to actually learn it, you're not going to know like everything about it. Plus the physicians don't know about compounded, what can be made for the most part. So a lot of times they will call the compounding pharmacist and ask what we can do for their patient. So that's kind of where I am. I've been working in pharmacy since I was 14 years old. I know I'm aging myself. I'm right there along with you guys, like starting the changes. So I am going to be traveling this journey with you guys. So anything else you want me to answer with that, Diana?
No, I think that's good because it's just like overall. But so if somebody wants to, what I tell women is if they want, they're like, how do I know where to find one? I just say, go on Google. This is what all I've been saying. Go on Google and Google compounding pharmacist in then their city. So I've been able to find some, or compounding pharmacy in the city. And that's what I've told some women. Because I don't know. And I mean, there's so many cities in the US, especially if you're anywhere else in Canada. So.
Yeah, and there's a lot of regulations coming regarding compounding hormones because they consider that a hazard material. So some of the compounding pharmacies are dropping out of doing hormones, and they're going to be even more limited. And if you go to pccarx.com, they are the people that I trained under for compounding, but you can look on their website and find a compounding pharmacist near you. And
what is that? PCCA?
RX.com.
Okay, I put it in the comments, ladies, for anybody who wants to know. Okay, great. Oh my God, they see them as top. What the hell's going on? Proof a lot of stuff's going on that shouldn't be going on.
Right.
Oh my God. Okay, so I see we have some more women on. Make sure you comment below. Let me know you're on. Say you're watching, whether you're live. That way, hopefully this video will get to be seen to more people in the group because, right, we want to spread it to the women in the group who are here. And I'm watching so I can see your comments. And if you guys have questions as we roll, make sure to ask them while Clarissa is here live. Okay, take advantage of this to get some of your questions answered. All right, so we have some questions that we kind of formulated that Clarissa gets asked a lot. Hi, Lynn. And so if she's going to start going through them, but if you guys have also questions, hopefully I'll see them on my phone or either on my computer, and she will answer them for you while we are live. So take advantage of this. All right, Clarissa, I will let you take it away.
Sure. So the first question that we came up with was why bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, which is BHRT, versus the commercially available products. I even get this question from the physicians, honestly, not just the patients. And the reason being, commercially available products, majority of them are synthetically made. There is progesterone and estradiol, which are natural hormones, but they do have a synthetic component to them when they're making them. The birth controls, all of that stuff are actually called like Xenoestrogens or progestin. Those are all synthetic, and they can actually cause a lot of side effects and harm and cancers and heart disease and all that stuff. That's why you're not supposed to smoke when you're on those, the bioidentical hormones or the commercially available products and stuff, the birth control and things like that, because there is an interaction with that cause blood clots and stuff like that. So bioidentical hormones are exactly that. It's what your body already makes or has made in the past. If you had a total hysterectomy, you're kind of lacking, but they fit into the receptors exactly like they should. When you get xenoestrogens or progestins, they fit into the receptors and they give some benefit, but then they have like a side chain hanging off of them, and that's where all those bad side effects come from. So they form the function, but then they add this chain on there that does all these other things that is not good for us. So bioidentical hormones, your body recognizes it like it's the natural hormone, because you literally cannot tell them apart underneath the microscope.
Wow.
That's kind of the difference between the commercially available products. Not to mention the commercially available products, they have set strengths. There's no adjusting to that. With the bioidentical, we can customize it specifically to you at the strength that you need. And a lot of times we can go a lot lower dose than what the commercially available products are.
Right. And I think that's such a huge problem. And I see I'm in this one Facebook group where most of them are on synthetic hormones. And the side effects, you guys, is unbelievable. Every day they're on there, tons and tons of them posting how terrible they feel, how awful they feel, the side effects. Now, it doesn't mean everybody. I know, some people are on them and found, I had no more hot flashes, that improved my moods, and I felt great. But you just don't know what they're going to do to you in a few years.
Mm-hmm.
As in, how many midlife women do we know who end up with cancer? Right. Lots and lots and lots. It is not worth it just to get rid of your hot flashes, because there's actually natural ways you can do that. Just to get to say that.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Kim just said, no. Okay, sorry. I'm answering your question. Been on the pellets for years, lots of benefits, able to retain more muscle, feel great, but haven't noticed help with weight gain. No, they're not supposed to help with weight gain, right? They're not for weight loss.
They're not weight loss, but balancing your hormones can offer weight loss and help, along with exercise and eating healthy and stuff. Having that balance in your hormones can help you lose, especially that abdominal weight, the weight around the hips and the waist that, women, I've got it too. I need to work on mine, but that, it's one component to lifestyle changes.
Right. And Kim, great thing. Yes, I think a lot of people think that. The thing is like just what Clarissa said. And I can tell you right now, 99.9% of the women I speak to come to me, and most of them even say, I'm eating healthy foods. They're not eating the right foods for this phase of life. They're eating some of the healthy foods, many of the healthy foods that are actually causing the weight gain. So there's some help, because your body metabolizes starches and carbohydrates differently at this phase of life, and fruits, and they can actually cause you to gain weight. So you will not be able to get rid of the weight, as well as preservatives and things in your food colorings and things like that, because your body holds toxins and fat. So there's definitely, if you haven't lost the weight, there's probably, you could be exercising wrong for this phase of life, or eating some of the foods that are actually leading to this. So I just wanted to mention that. And I just did a video in my Facebook group, Kim, in this group. Go under pinned posts and you will see the video on the food. There you go.
I find a lot of women in this age too don't eat enough fiber, and fiber is really, really beneficial. You need 50 grams of fiber a day for a woman going through menopause. And most women don't even get 30, which is recommended for everybody else. So plant-based fiber is huge.
Yeah, and not a fiber supplement. Fiber supplements are not horrible. I took some too, but we're talking the vegetables, the grains, the raw, the cooked. That's the type of fiber, as well as chia gel and hemp and stuff like that. But I talk about all that in my programs. Because once every single woman who starts with that decreases cravings, starts to end the bloat. They lose all of that. So yeah. Anyways, I don't want to digress into whole my topic. Although I could talk about it for a long time. All right, Clarissa. So versus commercially available, you talked about that. How do I know what to take and what I need, as in the hormones?
Yes. So, a lot of physicians will do blood work and labs, and they'll say, oh, you're within the normal range. You don't need anything. You're fine, whatever. But hormones are based off of symptoms. If you fall in that normal range and you have symptoms, which there is a long list of symptoms that you can have with imbalanced hormones, if you still have symptoms, I still treat. You
Right.
need to treat, not based on the person and their symptoms, not the numbers from the labs. I can do labs, offer labs, but I usually just start with their symptoms, focus on that. And typically we don't even have to do labs because I've done it so long that I already know what you're going to need. And that's what I offer in my consults is, I do an in-depth dive, a comprehensive hormone evaluation. I think it's like a 5 or 6 page document I sent you that you have to fill out ahead of time. And it literally goes through everything. And you get to rank your symptoms and stuff like that. But I do it based off the symptoms. And I had a long conversation with a physician in my town about that. He's an OBGYN, and he was talking to me about, how the commercially available stuff wasn't working for his patients, wanted to know what I was doing and how I could help and all this stuff. And he's like, he goes, I test my patients, they're in the normal range, but they say they have all this and this and this. And I said, yes, you dose based off of symptoms, not numbers on labs. And he's like, oh, he said, that makes a lot of sense because not everybody's going to fall in that normal range. They may be in that normal range, but that's not normal for them. So yeah, I'm a huge advocate for treating the patient, not the numbers.
Yeah, and it just drives you. Yeah, I have a hard time hiding what I feel about regular doctors. I've broken 2 wrists, thank God for regular doctors. So thank God for doctors, you know what I mean? But yeah, when it comes to hormone, I'm not sure if you mentioned this, Clarissa. We talked about it before we got on, that they do not learn this in school. Sounds like they're so young. They don't learn it in their schooling. So when we go to them and ask questions, they're not gonna, Can you talk just a few minutes about that?
Sure. So, one of the questions I get asked a lot about physicians that don't want to approve my recommendation is that, or don't approve bioidentical hormones. It's because they don't know what they don't know. Like they said, well, it's not FDA approved. And I said, you are correct. It's never going to be FDA approved because it's not mass produced. It's tailor-made specific to the patient. I said, each ingredient that goes into it is certified. And she's like, really? I said, yes. So they had no idea. They have no idea. They don't know what they don't know. And they're just taught very little in school about the hormonal pathway because it is so complex and complicated. And unless they take on more of that, I even find like the OBGYNs are still, don't know about menopause and all that stuff. They, know about how to, have babies and keep them pregnant with or using progesterone and stuff. But when it comes to menopause, they are like, help me, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
this has not been taught. This has doctors, we got to realize it's just like you going to your job. Have you ever, anybody who works in an office or worked in a job, someone comes to you and asks you a question that is beyond your scope of practice, you can't answer. We cannot expect them to know everything. That's way too many things, right? That's a general practitioner, It's not a specialist. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's so important to know, is that, I don't expect them myself to know. And why I get upset is just that they should admit that. I can't change them. So, but anyways, right? This is what we got to realize. It's not a blame or a shame game kind of. It's like just understanding. Once we have the understanding, oh, right, I guess they don't learn it. It's like, that's why there's doctors specialize, right, in different areas of medicine, so that they can learn more and be really, what do you want, knowledgeable in that area so they can help special patients who are in that area. A general practitioner, it would be way too much stuff, way too much. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, go to the next question. I'm just going to refresh and see if I can see any more questions on Facebook.
Explain the different types of estrogen. So we naturally produce 3 types of estrogen. We have the estrone, we have estradiol, and estriol. Estrone has a very high affinity for the cancerous pathway. So when we are compounding, a lot of times we won't add in estrone, especially if you have a family history of cancers or stuff like that. We allow your body to convert estradiol into estrone as it needs it. So adding it in could be too much for you, and we don't want to go down that pathway. Estradiol. Oh, we have a question.
Well, I just wanted to add something before I forget, because it's really important. I follow this. I know I started following a whole bunch of ladies to learn more, right? But this one lady on Instagram, and I don't know if it's sponsored ads or not, but this is how we have to watch who we're listening to, right? There's a lot of information going out there. And this one woman is promoting, how do you say estrone? Estrone, big time, as a, well, I mean, for vaginal dryness and all this, but it's like, then what you said, like, I'm just thinking, wow, if someone didn't really know, they would think, oh, I need a lot more of that.
No, your body will pull from the estradiol to create estrone with what it needs. Estradiol is the most commonly used estrogen. It's the most potent, but it when taken orally, it can go down that cancerous pathway. So you always need to have progesterone on board if estradiol is taken orally. So it's just a matter of the absorption and going through the liver and all that stuff, where it can go down that pathway. But the progesterone helps balances it and clears it from the system before it gets to that converted breakdown of it. So the estriol is the third estrogen. It is the least potent. It is not commercially available in the United States. Other countries do have it. Estriol is great for the vaginal lining, like what you're talking about. Estriol does not go down the cancerous pathway at all. It does not have that breakage in the pathway. Yeah. So estriol is the one that you want to use.
No, I was thinking what? I'm just going to put it in. I think this is how you spell it. E-S-T-R-I, no, estriol.
Yeah. Yep.
And so that's the good one, ladies. Estriol.
Yep.
Yeah. So we can't get anything in Canada. You think it's bad in the US, unless we go to get a prescription, right? If we get a prescription in Canada, can we get estriol?
I don't know if it's available in Canada or not. I know in the US it's available at compounding pharmacies, but it's not commercially available in any product.
Right. I know. This is the tough thing. Yeah. So there is one question, another question, I should say. Let me get on my glasses. It's from my friend Lynn Burnett. She takes a supplement to balance her hormones that helps with her moods, which is her biggest issue. She doesn't get hot flashes. Lynn's amazing. She's like 52, I think, and has like pretty much no symptoms. Is this something I do or don't need to do? I don't know. She takes a supplement formulation for, for hormones, balancing things, and it helps with her moods. I'd say that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the question of whether or not to be on hormones, even if you have like no symptoms that you think of or anything like that, but I would encourage you to research the symptoms that are caused by hormones, because you may have some and not know it. Because there are a lot of them. Yeah. So back in, I think 2002, the HERS study came out about, hormones are bad, they cause cancer, all this stuff. And so that kind of
HRT study.
Yeah. So then in 2017 or 18, a few of those doctors came back and retracted their statement, said they were wrong. It's the imbalance of hormones that causes all the issues. The balance of hormones allows you to live a long, healthy life, free of disease, free of heart disease, free of cancers, all that stuff. So that is highly recommended to start hormonal therapy, because even if you have no symptoms now, you will suffer later with brittle bones and cognitive thinking, and all that stuff will come later. But you need to start hormones within 10 years of menopause.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's bioidentical hormones.
Bioidentical hormones. Yep.
That's what we're talking to everybody.
Absolutely.
Always. Yeah, I want to get back on them again. I have to figure out who to go see in my city. But maybe I can get the questionnaire from you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll send it to you.
It doesn't matter if you're not in Canada. I mean, sorry, don't lady, she's not just going to send it out free. I'm sorry about that. She doesn't. You can have a consult with her. Oh my goodness. Okay. What other question? And ladies, continue to ask questions if you have questions, okay? Because take advantage of asking a question now if you have one, if you have a symptom, if you are really confused about something, if you're anything, there's no stupid questions. It doesn't just have to be, you don't have to know about hormones to ask a question. So truly, just be brave, ask your question. There's no silly questions. One of us will be able to answer. And yeah, I don't want you to sit here uncertain. So go ahead. Okay, we'll just continue right now. So go ahead.
The xenoestrogens versus phytoestrogens. I know I talked about xenoestrogens a little bit earlier, but really, truly, what is it? So think of xenoestrogens, it's spelled X-E-N-O, and then estrogens, but X, those are the bad things. Those are the things that, get into our hormone receptors, and they block all our natural hormones, and you just can't function properly. So you don't get the estrogen that you need, or your progesterone or anything like that, because it's being blocked by these xenoestrogens. These are found in plastics, pesticides, your tap water has added chlorine and added chemicals to it. And think of our skin as our biggest organ. So then you think of your shampoos and your lotions and your makeup and all this stuff. You have to worry about all this stuff because it gets absorbed through the skin. Birth controls, again, are a xenoestrogen. So really take a deep dive and look at your products that you're using and try to eliminate as many as possible, and you will notice a difference. I'll talk a little bit later on how you can cleanse your estrogen receptors so that they can be more open to your actual estrogen and your progesterone. So
they can be more open
phytoestrogens.
Can I just ask a question about what you said? So to cleanse your body of the bad estrogens, is that kind of what simplify means? To cleanse your body
opens up your receptors. It cleans them out, opens up your receptors so that they are able to receive your bioidentical hormones.
Okay, got it. There we go. That makes it more clear, I think. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
So the phytoestrogen, you think of, I think of like phytonutrients. When you eat whole foods, you get hundreds of thousands of phytonutrients. Phytoestrogens have so much benefit. And I know I'm going to say this, I'm going to get some soy. Everybody but soy saying, oh, that's bad for you. Women not soy, blah, 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 blah. But let me tell you, in the United States, about 90% of the soy is not good for us. It's heavily processed. It's extracted all the benefits from it. They made it into these oils and stuff like that has no benefit. If you get, clean, water processed or water washed only soy, and it's
non-GMO.
Yeah, non-GMO. It's just water washed. It is the healthiest food on the planet for women and men. I told Diana when we were talking before this, I told her that, Okinawans are some of the healthiest people on the planet, and their diet is primarily soy. So there is no reason not to eat soy, but you do have to watch and make sure it's a clean soy, non-GMO, and it's just water washed, so not processed. And it's hugely beneficial. But apples, the cooling foods like your melons and stuff like that, cucumbers, they are all wonderful things to eat for your hormones. Beets are fantastic.
Beets, everyone.
Women should have 3 bunches of beets every single week. when they're going through this changes. So I know that's a lot, but add them to your smoothies. I like to roast them and then I'll cool them and put them on salads.
I grate them raw into my salads. Yeah, grate them. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So beets are fantastic. They're protective of your hormones. There's all kinds of different foods. And I know Diana knows a lot about the foods because she talks about it. I follow her too and get all her expertise in the nutrition fact of it. But it is, you can just Google, what are phytoestrogens or xenoestrogens, what are the safe foods and not the safe foods and all that stuff. So it'll blow your mind on what is truly beneficial for us and what's not.
Yes, it's so important to be aware of. There are, the foods that are, and the environment and the plastics and off-gassing of things. And we're just bombarded with so many toxins now, right? And our body's taking them in, and what we, put on our body, what we're breathing in, what we're eating in, this is crucial and it's overwhelming, but let's just take a minute because this is overwhelming, a lot of good information. It doesn't have to be hard to start doing better. Let's just say that, right? At all. Yeah. Like going to someone like Clarissa and getting the questionnaire and getting help with that. Absolutely. But also, like, watch your plastics, no microwaving in plastics, really try to decrease plastics, right? Organic foods, free range, all of those things with the meats and the foods, do as best you can, local farmers market stuff, looking what you put on your body. If you're if you don't have a lot of like coconut oil on your body, something like that, right? Like just something simple, right? Like just start by those simple things, reading all labels of canned, packaged, all that type of food, and just anything you don't understand, chemical names and all that, like just try, okay, because I can tell you canned and even Bix pickles are bad. So you got to read jarred, canned, everything, and just pick the best with the least, right? Like what you can with the least ingredients, and start eating more fresh vegetables, greens, all of those.
One of the biggest things is sunscreens. Sunscreens are terrible.
I don't use them. Yeah, I know.
I don't either. But you know what? Coconut oil has a natural SPF of 8. So I use coconut oil.
Cacao butter. Yeah, cacao butter you can buy. You can buy anywhere mostly now, and mix it with a bit of coconut oil. That's what I use for my sunscreen. So it's greasy, it's oily, but it smells kind of like chocolatey, and it's fantastic. The cacao butter is fantastic for your skin. Yes, thank you, Clarissa, because I don't use it, so it's out of sight, out of mind. I forget to talk about it.
Yep. Yeah, I don't use sunscreens in our household. We only use coconut oil. But we want to move on to the next one, that is explain the different formulations of BHRT. So being a compounded item, we can do it in multiple different formulations. There is oral, we can make capsules or tablets that get swallowed. But again, if you're doing estrogens orally, you need progesterone on board as well. And I know a lot of physicians will say if you don't have a uterus, you don't need progesterone. That's a lie. You have other progesterone receptors in your body that do need it. We have what they call troches or triturate tablets or something like that. They're little pellets that dissolve like in your mouth or on your tongue. That is buccally absorbed, so it doesn't go through the liver like the normal process of swallowing a capsule. It's similar to a topical application, but it's in your mouth.
And is that an estriol? Estrogen, or is it in all three? Estrogen, progesterone, testosterone?
You can do any of them that way, buccally. Testosterone does not get absorbed orally. So if you're swallowing your testosterone, you're wasting your money because it doesn't get absorbed.
I don't know anybody who is. I just thought I'd mention it.
Yeah. But there is one commercially available product in the US now that is testosterone, and they got a patent on some kind of special biomatrix that allows it to get past the stomach acid to actually get absorbed. But that's the only product. You never want anything compound. There's nothing compounded out there that for testosterone to get absorbed orally. So testosterone, you either want to do buccally or topical application. You can do vaginal as well. But yeah, you can do vaginal, rectal, topical, buccally, which is the sublingual, and then oral for some things. Oral is the one that's got some limitations on it. But yeah, there's just a wide, it's really by preference what you like. So
Yeah, I did creams, but that's all.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't think I had any other option back then. So
yeah, I like the creams because they're easy to adjust without having to go buy another new product. You know, it's kind of more cost effective. You can easily adjust how much you're getting because they're usually in like a toppy click device where each click is 1/4 of a gram. Or some pharmacies dispense them in syringes so you can measure
Yeah,
out.
I
But
had
it's
a
easily
syringe, yeah.
adjustable. And I have found that women really know their bodies. So they know if they have too much progesterone, their boobs are going to be sore and things like that. They figure it out. You know, they play with it and they figure it out and feel, you know, find what they feel the best on. So I like the creams because we can play with the dose a lot. So but
yes, and so this is so helpful because, and I just have another question I'll read to you after, but ladies, this is so important to find someone who has the understanding like Clarissa does to help you, especially with bioidenticals, just like she said, because you may not know, you may not quite realize, oh, don't tell me I've been overdosing of something, right? It's so nice to have someone who can say, okay, with what you're feeling, seeing, whatever, maybe cut back a little bit on this or add a little more of this, like having that knowledge. And like she said, the synthetic ones, we know bad health risks, not good for your body, all of that. And they also, I want to just mention what I tell people because of what clients have told me, when you try to go off them, they throw you into like hormone hell. And so people tend to go right back on it because they feel so horrible. And I forgot to mention that, Clarissa. That's what I've heard. And I think that's so important also is, you know, so someone might say, I was so desperate, I went on them because of this. And then you're like, but you know, I don't want to be on them anymore.
yeah.
You can't just cold turkey, can you?
You can't cold turkey, and it is to your benefit to be on them for a long term. You may not be having any symptoms or anything, but long term, like I said, you're going to get the brittle bones and your brittle hair. And
But that's synthetic hormones I was talking about, like the
synthetic
synthetic.
ones.
Yes.
Yeah. Synthetic that's tough. They have so many issues. Like I don't, it is hard. And it's hard to talk to somebody that is on synthetic hormones and try to explain to them the benefits of bioidenticals, how much better they're going to be if you just transition and hop on over. But I wouldn't recommend
cold turkey on synthetic. Yeah. Because that throws you into a hormone hell. I know women have said that, and they just go back on them because they see, I can't get off them. I can't get off them, right? You can, it just, you got to wean your way off. And Clarissa can also help with that. So if anybody's thinking, right, people are on them, you can transition, but it's highly recommended that if you want to be able to do it, find some help, and Clarissa can help with that. So I just really wanted to mention that because I know there's some women who are on that.
Yeah.
Oh, can I ask you the question now?
Sure.
Sorry, I'm interrupting and I hate that. Got to monitor me. Okay, the question is by Amy. I have major digestive issues. I was told I have IBS, but I believe it's entirely hormone related. I'm 54 and started menopause at 49. I'm on vaginal estrogen, but thinking of trying bioidentical. I have issues with dairy and gluten also, which is new. My stomach is always bloated at night. Would bioidentical hormones help these issues?
Yeah. So IBS is, I mean, it's a gut issue, and there are tons of estrogen receptors in your gut. And leaky gut, which is caused by IBS and stuff, you got to heal your gut. So that healing your gut is lots of fruits and vegetables, lots of fiber, natural
Fiber.
plant-based fiber. Yep, getting that going and just healing your gut, because and dairy products can lead to IBS too. So if you avoid dairy, it will greatly improve too. I don't know if you use dairy at all, but dairy is inflammatory to the gut, but in the whole body system, it's inflammatory throughout. So getting rid of dairy, eating lots of plant-based fibers, fruits and vegetables, healing that gut. And then I'll talk about the estrogen cleanse, because that's the last question. And doing that to cleanse those estrogen receptors that are in your gut, so they're more open to receiving. But I know you're using it vaginally, I would also use it topically. So I don't know how much you're using, but vaginally you can do twice a week, and then you could move it to topical like 5 days a week. I always talk about a hormone holiday. So taking like off a week to give your body rest, and then it acclimates you. You don't get acclimated to the dose. Your body gets refreshed by taking a day off a week when you're at that menopause stage. So.
Oh, you mean, so when you're like perimenopause, having all the symptoms and you're taking bioidenticals, it's good to take 1 day off a week.
Yeah, as long as you're, so like where I am, like I haven't hit menopause, but I want to mimic my natural body because I still have a cycle. So I would take progesterone on a cyclical matter, because like when you're on your period, your progesterone's low. So you don't really need to supplement it. But right after you get off your period, you need a low dose of progesterone. Then when you go to ovulate, you need a higher dose of progesterone until you get back to day one. So before menopause, you're going to be on a cyclical matter with your hormones. So you don't really take a day off because you already have days planned where you're not going to be on it. But when you're in menopause, you pretty much have all the hormones all the time, but you want a day off each week so that your body can have time to reset itself, give it reprieve from the hormones that you're giving it, and then start over. Yeah.
Okay. And Amy, that's IBS. I had it. I was diagnosed with it in my 20s. And yeah, I don't really have it. I mean, I still have symptoms. I have to watch with certain things. But yeah, you do not, as far as I mean, like she said, healing the gut. Yeah. I mean, most of the foods and stuff in my programs, if you stick with them, you'll do that. Yeah, and it's what you don't want to eat too, right? And what you do want to eat more of, and make sure you're doing that consistently. And then things like probiotics and digestive enzymes. And there's things, I mean, the super powders I use and stuff that all help support all of that too.
Oh,
So
fermented foods every day.
There's so many, and no one should have to suffer with IBS. Like when I was in perimenopause, and this could be what also, I did have worse digestive problems. So I had worse headaches, I had worse digestive problems, worse moods. So everything that we kind of deal with is like amplified and multiplied, right? So then it feels like, oh my God, right? It's just exaggerated. It's like our moods, like we think with teenagers, right? The girls are like, oh my God, her moods are outrageous. That's what happens to us too. So, and then my digestive system has got really bad, right? And I really cleaned up. And that's when I learned to clean up what I was eating, change the things, get rid of things, add more of the other things in. And stress is a huge thing. So
absolutely. All right, so we on to the next question. You got one, or do you want me to go with mine?
No, you go ahead.
Okay, so the other thing, we came up with different types of testing, and this is really just preference, because all of them are going to give you numbers. And like I said before, I go a lot off of symptoms versus the numbers. I typically go with saliva testing because that's what I know. But a lot of things can interfere with saliva testing. So like you can't have on makeup or lipstick when you're spitting in the tube, because all those things, again, can have hormones in them. So it is a little bit more complicated. There is like dried urine, the Dutch testing, blood, are different aspects that you can do too. It's really just whatever the provider's comfortable with. And I'm good to look at any one type of test. It doesn't matter. Like I can read all of them. And be familiar with all of them. So that it really doesn't matter to me. just that I do more saliva than I do the other ones. But, you know.
What is the Dutch test? So I didn't know about that, or even, I don't know if it was around.
It's a fairly new one. I've been researching it because so a lot of the providers that do the pellets will do the Dutch testing because they say that that one gets them closer to the dose that they need in the pellets. They're able to dose easier than that because it's more specific, I guess. I've been researching it, but and I've been looking at being a provider for the Dutch test as well, in case, you know, some doctor wants that versus the saliva or the blood or whatever. So I've been looking into that one, but I don't know why you would prefer it over the other than the people that do the pellets. I don't know why they specifically like that one.
Oh, maybe those two companies work together.
Right. Some connection there.
Probably. So I did not know anything about the pellets. As far as I know, you know, I don't know, maybe they existed when I got mine. Of course, I'm in Canada, so things are different in Europe and US too. So creams are what I know about. So we've got bioidentical hormones coming, creams. The pellets, are the pellets all hormone? Do you deal with estrogen, progesterone mostly, or what?
Yeah, they can do pretty much any of them, but it's pellets that are created specific to the patient, and they get inserted under the skin every like 3 to 4 months. It's usually like in the back hip area, but they get inserted under the skin. So my experience with pellets is about 50% of patients love them and 50% of patients hate them because they got the wrong dose. And I think that would have a lot to do with the provider too, you know, you want somebody that has experience with that, because once they put them under there, they're in there. So if it's the wrong dose, you're going to have problems. Like I've heard of patients, their hair falling out in clumps and stuff like that. So if you're going with pellets, make sure you have a provider that is experienced in that. Like I will tell you straight up, I have no experience in pellets. I know what they are. I know what they do. I've dealt with patients that's had them before. But there's no dosing adjustment for 3 to 4 months.
And that can be crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And hormones are so finicky that, you know, every 3 to 4 weeks, sometimes I'm adjusting patients. So yeah.
Exactly. And I think because sometimes they go somewhere and that's all they're told, right? So women wouldn't know there's other options. So that is what this is for. This interview is for too, ladies. So whether you're watching the replay, whether you're watching live, ask questions. And it's also so important for you to know, okay, if you just say, because I don't think most people know, they think they can just go in somewhere and say, I'd like to get on bioidentical hormones, but don't realize it's a broader topic, the different kinds, why some are more preferred by some people. It's not that, like you said, that knowing that those pellets, once they're in you, that's 3 or 4 months. If it's the wrong dosage, you're dealing with terrible symptoms, possibly for 3 to 4 months. Right? That can be a long time when you're not feeling well. So that's really important. I did not realize that. I hadn't researched it. It was just something I was thinking about, but I hadn't gone to yet. So I'm so happy that you were able to clarify that. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
That's the biggest downside, I think, to that, is that there is no adjustment for that long of a period. So.
Wow. Yeah.
But then I have patients that absolutely love them and they won't try anything else. I'm like, great. You know, the main thing is getting you balanced so that you do feel great and at your best. So whatever that method is, let's get you there.
Yes. And having somebody who can be like, oh, okay, this is what I would think would be the best for you, right? Mm-hmm. Knowing and coming from a base of knowing all the knowledge of all the different kinds of stuff. So that's huge. That's so important. Do insurance usually cover these? That's a question.
So in the US, there is a few insurances that will cover compounded hormones. A lot of them don't, but I will tell you, most of them are extremely affordable. So, you know, a lot of the commercially available vaginal creams and stuff are horribly expensive, even on insurance for the most part. And typically the compounded items cheaper. So not to mention that the benefits are better because it's tailored specific to you. So you just kind of weigh your options. But most everybody that I've had as patients, they don't bat an eye at what I recommend or anything like that when they go to pick it up at the pharmacy, because it's cost effective, but they feel great. So to them, it's well worth it.
That's the thing. You got to think about health, just like people saying healthy food is expensive, right? You've got to think about your health. There's nothing more important when you come to a time when you're like feeling terrible, or if you say, I'm feeling okay, and then bang, 1 year from now, what's it gonna happen, right? And then you go back and you're like, you know what, I knew it, I should have. We don't want to get to that point. That's the thing. And yeah, that's just all I have to say. It's, like, I don't have a TV, I don't have cable, so I don't have any of those things. I live in a very small place. Now that's the way I choose to live, because everything, like, not everybody's going to be as extreme as me, right? I'm also single, so on my own. I sold everything when I went to Bali, so there we go too. Don't have that much, but I'm choosing health above all. To be able to go to farmers markets, to be able to buy my supplements, to be able to do my super powders, all of that. That's where most of my money goes, right? I have an old car. I bought it new, but it's old now. Like, I think we have just in our society seen certain things as, oh, she's successful, she's amazing, look at their beautiful house, oh my God, isn't that incredible? Look at the car she drives, how wonderful, she dresses amazing. Right? That's praised.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to think about that, right?
Very materialistic.
And what's important, but yet we got to think what at our age, like especially my age now, being 59, 58, I'm not 59, good God. What I would love, what really gets me is like seeing a beautiful woman who's aging really, but she looks healthy and vibrant and still able to do all the things. Like, to me, that's when I'm like, oh my God, like that impresses me. So yeah, definitely. We just got to change the way we think about things.
Right, absolutely. So the next thing I have down is gut health and Hashimoto's. I know we talked a little bit about gut health and healing that leaky gut and everything, but Hashimoto's, it seems to be on the rise and getting diagnosed left and right. But, most people think it's a thyroid condition, and it's really not. Hashimoto's is a disease of the gut that affects the thyroid. So if you heal that leaky gut and get all that good nutrition in there and stuff, it's going to help. It's going to correct itself. It's going to minimize. I actually worked with a patient that had Hashimoto's, and she was told, don't have cruciferous vegetables and don't do this.
Right, because of thyroid. Yeah.
I was like, you need to research, because that's wrong information, that you need that stuff, but you may have to start small amounts and gradually build up. And then today, it's like she's been on, I've been working with her 2 years, I believe, and she's felt the best she's ever been. Her numbers are the best they've ever been. And she just absolutely loves it. So, and the doctor's like, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it.
It's so true. Yeah.
Yeah. They treat it like a thyroid condition, but it's really not. They need to look at the gut. Yeah. But it's I'm telling you, that condition is on the rise. It's an autoimmune condition affecting the gut.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. Well, we're hearing about more things like that. Yeah. And as we age, things get more sluggish. We build up more toxins in our body. We have less digestive enzyme. There's just so many things, but it's not that hard. And I just want to encourage people that, it can sound like, oh my God, that just seems like all too much to do, but this is your life, right? It's your life. And there comes a time when you got to go, whew, I need to center myself and get real with myself and just decide that it's time to take care of me and my family, right? It's not about not spending time with your family or your friends, or we feel so guilty, right? When women say, take time to take care of me, hire someone like you, hire someone like me. It's like this guilt right away, but that's silly. I don't really need it. I don't really need it. But I mean, just think of, your family, being there for your grandkids in the future, being there for your kids in the future, and how you want to be there for them. You don't want them to have to, you be a burden to them. And that's what can seriously happen. I hate thinking about that. Clarissa's even way younger. So she's probably like, oh my God, I don't want to think about that.
Most people don't realize how old I am. I'm 43. Most people think I'm even younger than that. So I am to that age. Like once you hit 30, your testosterone starts to decline. When you hit 35, your progesterone starts to decline. So by 40, you should be supplementing. And I'm bad. I haven't, don't, I'm, do as I say, not as I do. Like I'm actually going to message my doctor and tell him to get me on some progesterone because I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the effects. So yeah, I'm going to be right there with you guys.
I started at 43.
Yep.
Okay. Someone said, so I'm not sure if you know anything about this. What about hypothyroid? I'm on Synthroid. Are there natural hormones for thyroid?
Yeah, well, there is. It's pork. So if you can't do pork or anything like that, I will tell you, thyroid can be compounded, but it is absolutely the hardest compound to ever make because it's such minute doses and they have to triturate into a bunch of filler to even make it into a capsule that you can see because it's such minute doses that it is very, very hard to get accurate as a compounded medication. So I typically don't recommend getting compounded thyroid for that reason because thyroid's very finicky. If you're off by, your dose capsule is a little bit off, that can just make your whole world off. So they do have like the NP thyroid or the, what's the other one? They're all like pork based. So they come from the pork glands, but.
They come from the what? Sorry.
The pork gland. Yeah.
Oh,
so from
gland.
Yeah, from the pig. Yeah.
Okay, gland. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
It's just you're breaking up just a little bit. Okay.
It's pork thyroid is what it is. So
okay.
There's no like plant-based form of thyroid that you can get, unfortunately. So they have to use animal.
Okay.
But.
And one of my clients who I'm going to do an interview with, sometimes she's just super busy. She was on thyroid medication when she came to me. A couple things. I didn't realize she was on so many. But anyway, she's lost 57 pounds now because she's really stuck with the right way of eating and loves it. It's changed. Everything's changed her life. And like that, her thyroid medication changed. Her thyroid has gotten better and better and better and better. She goes, sees her doctor, he monitors it. And he said the same thing to her. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Like, this is amazing. This is amazing. So food, nutrition, and sticking with it. Because I know what can happen is you can take a program of mine or something, and then you kind of go back, or you kind of digress, which means, oh, I used to eat, you're right, I used to eat a lot more of those. Now I'm not quite eating as much or following it as consistently. So that's, one thing I know about any type of medication someone's on for, let's say, cholesterol or high blood pressure or things like that is, type 2 diabetes. You can do a lot with food and being consistent. So if somebody here is saying, but Diana, I tried, right? And, it's just how long did you try for? And like, we got to continue it for life. Right? We got to continue healthy eating and living for life. It's not just about.
So talking about cholesterol medicine, all hormones are produced from cholesterol. So if you're suppressing your cholesterol, then you're suppressing your hormones and you're going to have long-term effects. So yes. Yeah. And I have a whole spiel about that, but I don't want Facebook to cut me off. So.
No, I'm not going to cut you off.
I'll silence me. But yeah, so if you want to learn more about that, you can private message me or whatever, and I'll let you know more about that. But it is, yeah. And the guidelines have changed so much over the years. Back in the 80s and 90s, they'd let your cholesterol go high and not worry, but now they want to suppress it so much that it is literally causing problems. The statin drugs can cause type 2 diabetes. Most people don't know that. Yeah. So yeah, you're just in a catch-2 cycle. Like, it's just like one thing and then I get another thing and another thing. And it just, that drives me crazy.
Yeah. So. One pharmaceutical will lead to something else going. You'll need another so that's how they make money, guys. And that they're out to get money. They don't care about your health at all. Zero. Cipolla. Pharmaceutical companies could care less. So we got to be really watchful about that. Does anybody else have any questions? And of course, I'm going to tell you how to find Clarissa and all of that. I'm going to just say goodbye. But let me know right now, guys, if you have any questions. There's a bit of a delay, so I just got to wait for a few minutes. But take the time, make sure to ask. I'll see.
Do you want me to talk about the estrogen, cleansing the estrogen receptors real quick?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay. So I know we've talked about it all along, but here's how to cleanse your estrogen receptors. Modified citrus pectin, it comes in a powder, and just a teaspoon of that daily. But you don't want to use it the week that you're on your period. If you're still cycling, you don't want to use it that week, but every other week you can. Cilantro, dried or fresh. I usually say, dried is convenient. You can get it in the herb aisle or whatever, and you just put it in all of your food. You should go through 1 bottle of the dried each month of cilantro. Just add it to everything you eat. But those 2 things will cleanse your estrogen receptors and make you feel better and get all that, the xenoestrogens out of your system and out of those receptors that are blocking your estrogens. So
that's amazing. So modified citrus pectin. So how do you do that again? Citrus pectin. I'm right in the comment.
1 teaspoon daily, but not during your period.
What do you mix it with?
You can just take it, or you can mix it in something you're eating, or you could put it in some water or whatever. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so you don't have to mix it with water, or you can do whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, however, just putting it in here. Okay. Okay, not during your period. Okay. And cilantro, dried or fresh. She said the dried that. Cilantro also helps with detoxing heavy metals. So let's say all of a sudden, can you start to feel, if you take citrus pectin and let's say all of a sudden you're taking lots of cilantro, could there possibly be any detox symptoms? This is what I'm wondering. Would you notice detox symptoms from this?
I mean, my thought is, I haven't ever had anybody experience that. They've all felt better.
Okay.
After doing it, that was the side effect. They felt better because they were getting that junk out of their system. Technically they probably could experience detox. Like, it could show up in different ways, like through your skin, or you get a rash or itchy, or because it's going to start releasing everywhere and it's going to come out somewhere. So
right. So that's detox symptoms, guys. Like, so some people are too, like, you can get more bloated and constipation, or I'm just talking from foods too, and diarrhea from detoxing. You could get headaches, sinus problems, achiness, and feel really tired, lack of energy. So if someone is just like, okay, I'm doing it tomorrow, I'm going to really clean up, and you go off all sugar, all gluten, all of that, and wheat and dairy, and you don't eat fresh stuff, and you feel worse. Okay, so that can happen.
Headaches.
Yeah, that can be detoxing. So don't think that. I've actually literally had some people, I felt worse, so I stopped, and I'm like, oh, that's just the detox. You just got to keep going through that. It feels like crap, but once you're on the other side, you'll start to feel better. So I just wanted to mention that about detox. And you can get rashes, you can get breakouts. And one thing I got, which we forget as a symptom, I got like pimples or more acne when I was going through perimenopause. I had it when I was a teenager, and then it came back then. And I thought, literally, I didn't know I was going through perimenopause, but I was freaking out because I know how bad I had it when I was a teenager. So when it came, I'm like, what is this? Oh my God, I can't go through this again. Oh no, no, no. So that's a symptom I never talk about, and I forgot to mention.
Yeah, it's testosterone that causes acne along the jawline. That's testosterone. So
So when your other hormones are lowering and testosterone hasn't started to lower yet.
yeah, it's like, yeah, you get that little acne along the jawline.
Okay, we want to, oh, this is such a good one. I forgot. Thank God someone mentioned this. Thank God. When you've had hysterectomy. So postmenopausal, who's had hysterectomy around 8 years ago, always feeling drained and always getting headaches. How do you do it with someone who's had a hysterectomy?
You need the whole gamut of hormones. You need progesterone, estrogen, testosterone, DHEA. My women that are at that age and gone through hysterectomies, partial or full, they still need like everything. So yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I had never, I thought, God, that's such a good question. And we didn't even think about it, did we? So thank you, Marie, for asking that question. Oh my God, I would have hated to miss that because I knew someone would have brought it up. It is because people are like, I don't know what phase I'm in, right? Like a lot of people have hysterectomies during perimenopause because their period goes so weird.
Right.
Now, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. So the period going weird, guys, like really extreme, really light is normal. But of course, I have had some women who had extremely heavy periods for a year or two. Now, I don't know, Clarissa, I'm just asking this without having any idea. Those are questions I cannot answer. And I always tell them like that when they get severe periods for a very long period of time. Mm-hmm. Any thoughts on that?
That is the beginning of the change. So before you hit menopause, right before, your period gets shortened, you have longer days of bleeding, and that will go on till it will stop. And then when you go 12 months with no period, that's the definition of menopause. Yeah. Once you get 12 months, no period, now you're in menopause. But the phase before that, your period's going to be all over the place. If you track it, your symptoms are going to be all over the place. But it's literally like taking your progesterone in a cyclical manner will drastically help that.
Oh, okay.
Progesterone will help that bleeding, keep you more regular, also makes you more fertile. So if you don't want to get pregnant, use alternative methods to.
And if women can't get pregnant in your early 40s, right? That's usually because the estrogen's so high because of the fake estrogens and all of that. So that's why we're definitely seeing a lot of that. Oh my God. But yeah, so great because some women talk to me, come through on YouTube and they're like, so many end up with hysterectomies because of this. So I had extreme bleeding. It can bleed like literally you stand up, you can't even go to work. You're in it's just clots. It's just so much like literally you can't stop it and it's severe, but I didn't have it for extended, but I was also working on my eating and health and stress reduction and everything. So it didn't last a long time, as in like every month it was hell for those few days, but then eventually it ended. But there's actually some women who said it just continued and they eventually had to have a hysterectomy.
And even if you I had a physician call me because she was freaking out. She goes, I'll be honest with you. She goes, I know I prescribe hormones and all this stuff for my patients. She goes, but I have no idea what I'm doing. She goes, I have a patient that's bleeding and I can't get them stopped. So she sent the patient to me and I got her readjusted, and within a couple of days she had stopped and she was back to normal and everything like that. But the physician, because she's like, I don't know what I'm doing. And she goes, I can't get this patient stopped bleeding. Well, what happened is they had him dosed really high on estrogen and not enough progesterone. So they weren't stopping. So.
Yeah. And dairy, meat. You guys, conventional dairy and meat, estrogen. Really bad. So it's bad diet.
It's so bad that we have young girls getting breast buds at like 6 months old. Insane.
So anybody, we got to watch like the people who are breastfeeding, the parents who are eating the foods while they're pregnant, all of that thing, right? That is a problem too. Like I could go on and on. Yes. All right. So thank you, ladies, for attending live. Wow. Amazing. Thank you. And if you have any more questions, so Clarissa, how can people find you? And of course, we'll be posting your information in the Facebook
So
group.
I'm in Diana's group, so you can find me there as a member, and you can message me and add me as a friend if you want to. I don't care, and ask me questions. I'm open to that. I do have a link that I'll give to Diana for if you want to book an appointment. I have, I think still some few days left in July, a few appointment slots left. And then we're going into August, but I'll give that link to Diana where she can share it on the page so that you guys can access that too.
Yeah. And Clarissa, if you want to, I know you're still working as a pharmacist, but anytime you want to post info in my group, your contact info, do a live video, go for it. Do whatever you want in this group. Because I can't, yeah, you're so good at all the information and you know about it. And if you want like more clients, you know, whatever, go for it.
Sounds good. I'm excited to be working with you, Diana.
Yeah. And I'm so happy you came on, like so happy. I've been thinking about this for a while and it's just like someone, you know, there's a couple of people I know who know more, but they're like, they probably wouldn't even talk to me, right? Like I'm just a small person, like the, you know, and I was so happy to find you. So happy that I can't even remember how we connected, but like, oh my God, this is what I've been wanting, is to find someone who can answer questions, who I can recommend women to go to, who still cares and who's still there. You know, you haven't written 3 books and, you know, doing a TV show or whatever, you know, you're still available, which is what we need.
We have, you know, you and I agree, the foundation is nutrition. You know, nutrition helps every hormonal pathway. Every pathway in our body has a hormone or has a nutrition basis. Every disease state has a nutrition component. So we agree that nutrition is where it starts. So
yes, and you can be like what that person said about that the bioidenticals haven't helped yet with weight loss. You can be doing one thing, right? Like exercising like crazy, thinking I'm not losing weight, but it's kind of got to be it all, right? Like you got to look at it all during this phase of life because hormones are so complicated but that doesn't mean you have to learn all this or have to study it or have to spend hours. It just means, oh, okay, so I got to adjust my stress, my, you know, stress reduction, whatever, my eating, which is great because I want to eat for health anyways, everybody. And then if I want to, if like, I'm like, oh my God, my symptoms are really crazy, I want some help to help myself, then reach out to someone like Clarissa who knows, who really knows. So, you know, it doesn't have to be complicated when you get the help and support, right?
Right.
And you get changes fast.
Yeah.
Like
oh yeah.
Faster than, you know, the 3, 4, 6, 10, 12 months, 2 years that someone suffers. You don't need to suffer, ladies. You don't need to. So that's my encouragement for everybody. And thank you so much for being here. It's been amazing.
You're welcome.
Amazing.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. Oh, I forgot to record it. Oh, I can download it from Facebook. But oh, I was too excited. Okay, I'm going to stop the share to Facebook. So thank you so much, Clarissa, for being here. Thank you, everybody, for watching live. And for those watching the replay, comment below as much as you can. Talk under below gives us more ideas with the information you need, you require. My 30-day program coming up, which is about exercise and eating the right foods in this phase of life for you. Reach out to me and I'll be posting the link in the group again about it. So thank you so much. Have an amazing night. Thanks for taking your time, being so generous.